This is Finlay Surge's 4 Seconds Out with Joe Gallagher. Good performance from Billy Dennis tonight. How did you feel the fight went?
Yeah, I knew Ezra was got to come. It's a huge opportunity for him. It was a huge opportunity for Billy Dennis tonight to be at the co-op and showcase his skills on a TV slot in front of Frank and George. And I thought Billy the first couple of rounds tried a little bit hard, but that was due to Ezra's awkwardness and game plan, I thought did very well. But then I feel Billy then took over then and showed everyone that his boxing ability.
It was a fight week full of antics, obviously, with the egg in at the press conference. Yeah. Did you expect the awkward style from Ezra coming into the fight?
I knew Ezra is with a good coach. Paulie De Silva is a very good coach. I know he'd come up with a good game plan. And it wasn't a straightforward fight, as some people thought. And like you say, Billy got a cut in the fight. But no, Ezra gave a good account himself. And there was a lot of antics this week with the eggs and everything else, but there's huge respect from both teams and both fighters, and the way they were talking there in the medical room together. I said, Jesus lads, go and get a room, will you? Like, do you know what I mean? They're all having a lot of bro love going on there. So it's a good win for Billy tonight.
What was said in the corner, especially after the first round, where it didn't look like Ezra wanted to engage, a lot of messing about? Both of them warmed up to the fight.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just a case of looking at who was wanting to do. Ezra came out trying to be awkward, nick around on the back foot, but then he couldn't keep it up for 2 or 3 rounds and reverted back to type then. So I've said to Billy just on the way in, he was just, listen, Billy hadn't fought for 10 months now, no excuse, but he just came in, had his chin a little bit head up in the air, got caught with some silly shots that got reactions from the crowd. But he's still a baby and he's still learning. I think he's 14-0 now, so hopefully we'll have him out in the new year.
14-0, a successful night, counter-punching but aggressively. It was a good performance from Billy. Where would you like to see him next?
Billy, I'd like Billy to go down to super middleweight. I think the super middleweight division is more suited to him. I think he could make that weight-wise. We'll have a chat afterwards. But he's a talented kid. There's no rush for him. That light heavyweight division is stacked. When you look at the Boxing News rankings this week, and number 10's Ben Whittaker, you think, so Jesus, how you got to crack that top 10? So we'll just see how it is. He'll have a bit of a rest, and that was his first time on the big show before the big lights tonight now on Queensberry, and thanks to them for giving him an opportunity, and I'm sure he entertained the fans at home.
I'll move on, hard segue. Sam Jones has recently come out and said that the Dubois rematch is probably the only fight Anthony Joshua should take if the Fury fight's not there. What do you think about that? Do you agree?
I think Daniel Dubois is coming off a loss now. Anthony Joshua obviously losing to Daniel Dubois. I don't necessarily think that. I think Anthony Joshua could go and fight whoever he wants. It's still a big draw, still a big thing. I still do feel, right or wrong there, I think all of a sudden Joshua could pop up in December in Nigeria in a little 6-rounder. I don't think that would cost huge money for an opponent, and it'd give Joshua a quick 6-round out in Nigeria. I know Lawrence Okolie is headlining that. And then for Daniel Dubois, well, there's fights for Daniel Dubois to have. There's Yuri Fury, which I think is a good fight. No one talks about Yuri Fury much. That's a good fight for Daniel Dubois as well. There's good fights. We're quite blessed in the division. In the UK, we've got so many, and then we're not forgetting about your Torreses and your Millers and your Jobalovs and them type of fighters as well. So I do feel, I don't think Daniel Dubois, it's got to be AJ nothing. I think that there's a choice of opponents for Daniel Dubois. I'm a huge fan of Daniel Dubois. He's only young, and I think he can come again, and I think he needs a fight. I don't think he's had a fight yet under Tony Sims, and AJ hasn't had a fight for a while. I think AJ, I think he should box in the Nigeria show and just do a little 6-rounder and get a little win, get a feel a little bit of love, have a knockout, and have him come back in the big 2026.
It seems like that is what the plan is. Maybe get him in for a tune-up fight, and then we move into the Fury, the Dubois. Dubois has been mentioned with Kabayel. Frank Warren said he's got no issue with making that fight. Is that the way you think Dubois should go back to? Because Kabayel seems like a bit of a boogeyman. No one wants to face Kabayel.
No, listen, Dev Shaheen put that out the other day. People's forgetting Lawrence Okolie is the WBC number 1. All right, even you're not talking about Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie is WBC number 1. All right. Kabayel is the interim champion. Usyk's the world champion. If there's a fight to be made with Kabayel, it'll be Lawrence Okolie versus Kabayel. Lawrence Okolie now has got a fight in December. Then after that, then we'll see what the WBC do, what Alexander Usyk decides to do with the belts. He might give them all up. And then that'll mean Kabayel versus Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie's been calling out Kabayel for ages for being a boogeyman. We're not scared of Kabayel. We want that fight. So he can fight in Germany in January. We'll fight in December. And we'll fight for Kabayel in April, May time. But that's the fight there. But Lawrence Okolie is the WBC number one, and as you just said there, quite a lot of people are doing it, forgetting to mention Lawrence Okolie at the end of the tongue or a sentence in the heavyweights at the moment.
Lawrence Okolie's got a great resume.
Oh, well, here we go.
But do you not think maybe it's his fight style? A lot of fans
not
adhering.
No, that's ignorant. That's so ignorant, John. You're going on about an opponent where he fought Chris Billam-Smith, I don't know how many years ago, again at cruiserweight. Since then, he's come back at bridgeweight, won a world title, knocked the kid out. He's fought at heavyweight, knocked the kid out. Then he beat Kevin Loran with one arm at Wembley. The same Kevin Loran that dropped Daniel Dubois 3 times. The same Kevin Loran that was beating Justin Hooner. Do you understand? Yeah, Lawrence went in and beaten one arm. Yeah, Lawrence would like to have knocked him in a round or two, but his bicep got detached. But now he's out fighting here. Lawrence Okolie didn't hold a hug or anything like that. But if you want to continue that narrative of him doing that all the time, well, that's down to you. But that's just poor journalism, and everyone that keeps saying that, you're wrong. It's just that you don't want to, and no one wants to put Lawrence Okolie in the front seat, the driving seat, as a threat and a serious contender to being a heavyweight world champion. And whatever that is, that's got to stop. Give the man credit where it's due. He sacrificed a lot in Dubai, comes over to Manchester, trains, and he's had 3 good fights and 3 good wins.
Who would you like to have next for Lawrence then?
Kabayel. I've just said that. We've got to fight December, Kabayel January, and we'll fight Kabayel in March, April. That's no problem.
We'll move on, obviously, DAZN.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry, I just see everyone interviewing, whether it be Ring Magazine, everyone else, and no one's mentioning Lawrence Okolie. I'm like, Lawrence Okolie's Olympian. He's a 2-weight world champion. And you all keep going on about when he hugged against Billam-Smith. He was weight drained, he's 14-4 and dead. I don't know how he did it. So, don't get me started on that.
I love the passion.
And it's just a way of people can create a narrative to create a bad smell about him.
We'll move on. DAZN changing the game. A lot of fights on their channel, live streaming. Sky Sports, massive platform, drove boxing for years, still yet without a partnership. Yeah. Is that just the change of boxing now?
I don't know it's a change of boxing. I think there's obviously Ben Shalom had a contract there. I just think it's very sad. I think it's very, very sad. Boxing, we all used to look forward to the beginning of the season when they used to advertise the football season, and then there used to be shows every weekend, whether you'd be in Manchester with Quig Crawler, Liverpool with Bellew Smith, Scotland with Ricky Burns, do you know what I mean? Sheffield, Kell Brook, your Frankie Gavins, your Yaffais in Birmingham, and your Joshuas and the likes down in London. So I feel very sad that you're not getting that Sky Sports Saturday night. It's very good that we're all on DAZN, but I think there's people at home of a generation that aren't familiar with apps or everything, that are so used to, is any boxing on Sky tonight, and it's not there. And hopefully the quicker they get a deal done, or they give dates to a few promoters, a couple in the Northwest, a couple in the Midlands, a couple in the South, and we get boxing. And I do feel maybe we might have to go back to the small hall to go forward again. People forget, like Thaxton Hatton was small hall, Jimmy Moore Macklin was small hall, and they were great fights. And maybe we have to go back to that area, but just get boxing on, I think, at domestic level, British, European, and build up again and go again. So maybe we might have to go back when there was a time where I think it was Frank Maloney, Hatton Promotions, Matchroom, they all had dates, and maybe we might have to go back to that situation. But it's a crying shame that there's no boxing in Sky Sports.
I'm glad you mentioned the Ben Shalom era, we'll call it, over at Sky Sports. It now moves over to the BBC. Another fight postponed with TKV and Fraser Clark. That's a shame, but how do you see that fight going on the later date?
Who, Fraser Clark? I unless they come on my fighter's radar, I don't pay much attention, so I can't really say that.
Okay,
I'm too busy watching my fighter's opponent, so I'm not being rude. Unless there's a super fight, I'll watch it, so that's just how I will work.
Joe, it's been a pleasure.
No problem, cheers.
Thank you very much.
Nice
Thank you very much.